Welcome to Life in the Music Business, a master class with Professor Pooch and your host, BACEFACE.
Welcome back, everybody, to Life in the Music Business with Professor Pooch.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I did something strange today with the virus stuff that's been going on. That's when we're shooting this. And I went outside. I mean, I've been hibernating for a while. I usually hibernate in the winter because when it gets icy here, and I live on a street that goes like this, and BACEFACE, you know that. And if there's snow, it didn't snow this winter, but what's really funny is that, I do it basically because I can't stand cold weather. As you can see, folks, I'm pretty thin. And I'm one of those people that can eat and eat and eat and can't gain weight. And people say, Pooch, you're so lucky. They don't understand in the winter, it goes right to your bone and sticks there, kind of a thing. So.
Oh, yeah, tough. I mean, it's so funny because we're literally the exact opposites. I can gain weight so fast on the drop of a dime. Like,
they need to find a way to transfer weight from person to person. I'd say, all right, it's wintertime. Can you give me a few extra pounds here?
I easily have at least 20 pounds I can just give up for free.
Well, I have high metabolism. It runs in my family. My daughter's really thin.
Oh, wow.
And and she's 4'11", must weigh 85 pounds or something. But she's like me. We eat and eat and eat and eat. It doesn't matter. We could eat anything. And people say, shut up, because there are people, and I really believe this, they look at food and they gain 5 pounds. I've seen it. There are people like that. They just look at it and all of a sudden calories or something,
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's just the way it is, it's just the way it is.
Good. So today we're going to be talking about your 3-step program. We're going to start from the top and explain to everyone basically how to successfully set up their business.
All right. Well, first of all, to describe what the 3-step plan is, and of course, folks, it doesn't matter having any kind of plan if your music isn't there. So hopefully you have some really great music, great songs, great arrangements, great productions, great recordings, great mixes, etc. But the idea is, this is my way of putting it to people, and this is where most of the people I work with want it after they hear about it. It's a program where it's very simple. You want to own everything. So my thing is, you be the owner, because in the music business, the owner has the power, not the creator. So you could be the creator and the owner. There's no law against it, And the whole point is you want to take care of this 3-step program where it's real simple. I'll explain it in short, and then we'll go into it. And I'll show you how to do it. But it used to be called everything you need to do to be prepared for everything you want to do in the music business. And they said, Pooch, that's too long. but it's before you sign with anybody. I mean, even co-writers, managers, anybody, you want to have ownership so nobody can take it from you. And, or putting stuff out to the public. You want to be, have everything registered and stuff like that. So just give you a brief overview and then we'll go into it. This will be part 1. There's a lot to this, but it'll set you up. Step 1, you get your business and legal together where you own everything on paper. You're protected and everything like that. It also makes you look professional. And if you want to attract investors, I've seen this happen, where things weren't in place. The band did not have a band agreement between the members. They didn't want any fighting. The investors said, when you get your business together, come back. And, business, the curse word one of the curse words for the music industry to artists and creative people. But it's not that hard. Get it done and get it over with. So you get your business and legal stuff set up, and we set up the whole plan of how your business is going to be. Once this is in place, believe it or not, contracts and everything, you can be set for life. And you can use the same contracts over and over again in similar situations. Well, the contracts I write anyway, you can, okay? Now, you have a step 2. Step 2 is taking step 1, all this proof of you own this and this is blah, 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 blah. And you register everything. Now, there's two kinds of registrations. There's the protective type, like registering with Washington, where you want to use your publishing company as the owner. Believe it or not, it's yours, it's you. Don't worry about it. It's going to protect you by having the company there. You're the creative person, and, then you got to register each recording that comes out with ASCAP and BMI, ASCAP or BMI, whichever writing, whichever you're assigned to, or CSAC, etc. And then there's sound exchange for the artist and record company, like ASCAP and BMI is for the songwriter and publisher. You want to get this all together. And then the third step is where I listen to your music and you listen to it with me. And we get together on it and we do a plan of action, a plan of attack. People do, what do I do? What do I do? I'll put this up on Facebook or Instagram, blah, 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 stuff like that. Folks, you need a step-by-step plan of action. Get everything in place so that you can actually be respected, protected, and paid. And that's it in the overview of it. I wanted to give a quick overview so you see it makes sense. You take this step one, you register step two, everything's in place, then you can put together your plan of action. Perfect. So you're ready to get into it?
Yeah, from the top, let's go.
Okay. The first things I take care of is the pure business. Now, the artist is going to take care of it. Oh, by the way, let me make this clear. This is whether you're on the creative side or the business side. A lot of my clients want to just be managers or indie labels or publishing companies or studios or whatever, This is from all angles. It covers everything. You still need to know what's going on and everybody that's involved. So the first thing I usually ask them is, do you own anything? Like a house, a car, a lot of equipment or things like that? You really want to have what is known as an LLC. And an LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. In other words, it's your protection over the top. So in case they sue you, they sue the company. In most cases, they're going to sue the company, and you as a personal, it's not going to touch your personal monies. It's going to touch the LLC's money. So in case you just bought that brand new car or whatever the heck you're doing, it's not taking your life away from you underneath. And it's a very important step. It's also investors see that you have an LLC and say, all right, it's not a hobby to them. It's not a hobby. So they can take you seriously. It's, they don't want nobody's going to invest in somebody that's doing it for a hobby. And even though you might be serious about it, it shows them that you're being professional. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good thing to have. It's so simple to do. You don't need me. You don't need a lawyer. Don't go to any places on the web. Go to your state website and set up to be an LLC. It's real cheap. Well, cheap compared with what you might think.
Yeah, $125. You can file the application because we're in Philadelphia. So Pennsylvania is $125 application. You file it online and then you're good to go.
Most states are around that. It's not much, an LLC.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks.
And it took me a couple of days, I think, but it depends. I actually did it in Delaware. There's lots of reasons, you do it in any state. There's no sales tax in Delaware. And a lot of people do that, but it was just easier at the time because Pennsylvania was like 4 pages of fine print, but they woke up and they made it much simpler to do, okay? Yep. In Delaware, it was hilarious. I don't know what it's like now, but when I formed my LLC years ago, it was like Sesame Street. It was done over the phone. 3 questions. It's like, who are you? What is your name? What do you do? It just really it could have been on Sesame Street, and talk to me by Muppets or something, And in 10 minutes, I had an LLC.
Wow.
Now, after you get your LLC, you wait like 3 or 4 days and you go to irs.gov, irs.gov. By the way, you can see this information. I'm going to go into more detail, but you can see this information on professorpooch.com. Hit the far, I think this would be the right view. I don't know if I'm doing mirror or whatever on this image thing, but the far right top tab, it says free library. Slide down a little bit in the top right corner at this point. It says Professor Pooch's 3-step music business career plan of action. Okay. But what it is, you want to wait 3 days because it's got to get into the system. You go to irs.gov, and for free, you get a tax number, and you will see why you will need that tax number in a while. It's sometimes called an EIN, an employee identification number. And we'll get to why you need that. There's a means to my madness, okay? Why you do these kinds of things. Now, the next thing that comes up normally are different. Unless you're doing everything yourself, let's say you're partners with somebody in putting together an indie label, or you have a band and you need to have some kind of a partnership agreement, a band agreement if you're a band, which will have an extra little thing covering the actual musicianship kind of stuff, but you need a partnership agreement. Why? Well, things can happen, and I'm going to put it real simple. Everybody's heard the term people change, but there's also people change people. Oh, I've seen girlfriends get on boyfriends, hey, you should leave that band, whatever. And then the circumstances change people. People could be fine, and then they get into real dire straits for some reason, and they want to get into all kinds. Well, this solves all these problems. I'm going to give you a great example of, oh God, I run into this so much. Of course, if you come to me beforehand and we set it up right, you don't have this problem. Or you can go to an entertainment attorney. They can put together a thing. I'm a contract specialist. I'm not a lawyer. I just handle contracts. But I'll give you some examples of why you want it. A person leaves the band and he wants to take his equipment and some of the speakers, whatever. It talks about adding people, subtracting people, but the weirdest ones, and this has happened too many times, I'm mad at you, I'm quitting the band. Let's say it's the drummer. Take me off your tracks on the recording. And not only that, take me off your video. Now, folks, have you ever seen a stage? What do you see where the drummer is? There's a front person, a rapper, a singer, or whomever, and right behind them in the middle is the drummer. And taking them off that's a problem, folks. You don't want, in other words, it solves a ton of problems. It also shows the splits of money and things like that. And the weird part about partnerships, agreements, and band agreements is the music industry is unlike any other type of industry when you're talking about partnerships, because you have a creative side and you have a business side. In other words, let's say one person writes all the songs in the band. This has happened. Talk to Paul McCartney and John Lennon when George Harrison was able to get one song in. But the point is, usually what will happen is, unless it's all settled in it, I have ways to solve it. This is the way it can go. The band says, wait a minute, we contributed, but a song is really the lead melody, if there is one, and words. And the guitar player says, wait a minute, my hook is what grabbed people in. It's like, well, there's a way to do it. See, one direction is the actual songwriter gets all the songwriting money and all the publishing money. Remember, the songwriter, the business end for the songwriter is the publishing. Opposite direction. All the songwriting money and all the publishing money is split within the group. A third way. The actual songwriters get the songwriter money, but the publishing is split between the members of the group. And look, people contribute. I mean, you might start with a song. I mean, it's happened to me plenty of times. So I start with a song. I'm sitting on a guitar writing the song or a keyboard or whatever. And what'll happen is when the band starts playing, it starts changing a little, the sound. And sometimes it's great, and they should get something. So to me, a good compromise is the actual songwriters get the songwriting money, but the publishing money is split between the members of the group. And this is kinds of things that are in a band partnership agreement. See, there's creative side and there's a business side, unlike any other kinds of thing. A partnership agreement covers so many ifs, buts, and ands, and all kinds of things. Mine run, and I write in simple language, by the way, when I write contracts. You don't need a thesaurus or a dictionary all the time and stuff like that, and try to read Middle English is what I call lawyer speak. It's like something, that you have to go to a lawyer to keep going back. But I mean, some lawyers are really getting better at that, where it's more language, but they're taught one way in law school and that's the way, whatever. But the point is, typically, every contract, you can't use templates. You've got to have a contract that fits your exact situation. Because I get some weird ones. I've had like an investor consider himself part of the band, but he doesn't play with the group. Oh, I get all kinds of weird stuff. I handle it. It's not a problem. It's fun, actually. It's like solving a problem or whatever. So what happens is, the point is there's lots of things to take care of. It covers lots of things, adding people, subtracting people. What about somebody leaves a band? Can they say formerly of? I mean, we can go into it forever. My contracts, just for a regular partnership without the band supplement, I call it a group supplement. It's about 4, 5, 6 pages, depending on the situation. And no, it's not fine print. I don't believe in that. I want everybody to read everything. And then a group supplement might be 2 pages where it gets more personalized. Who owns the band name? Here we go, folks. Things like that, Oh, great one in Philadelphia. Oh, God. Well, he's dead now. Well, I'm not going to name names anyhow. But what he would do is the manager owned the band name. It was a singing group's name. So what he did was, he would put out 3 different groups under the same name on the same night in different parts of the country and stuff because he owned the name.
Oh, wow.
Which brings up an interesting point. I usually handle it later, and we'll probably get to it again, is I get this a lot. They say, Pooch, how do I copyright my name? Like the group name or my name. How do you can't copyright a name, folks. You can't copyright a name, a title, a short phrase. You have to trademark it. And we'll get into it. BACEFACE, remind me when we get into step 2. We'll go into that's another form of protection, but it's covered by trademark. It's not hard. It's category 41. Just naming a name, but when you're getting into merchandise with logos and stuff, then it gets more complicated. I'm not even going to get into that kinds of stuff.
But you could do that online by yourself too, unless you want to hire an attorney. I know a lot of people use LegalZoom, but I try to stay away from that. And I actually like to either like go through Pooch or through or just end up doing it by myself, to be honest.
If it's just a name, you can do it for yourself. Yeah. It's $325 to do a trademark. I recommend you put it in use before you actually register. It sounds funny, but I had it pretty easy because like my name, Professor Pooch, goes back to the 90s. But, I can prove it, kinds of things. My site, professorpooch.com, has been up since 2001. The idea is to show it in use, because otherwise, if you go for a trademark, and here we're going into the whole thing anyway, you go into a trademark, it takes about 6 months to do. And by the way, and then if you haven't used it already, it's going to take longer time because then you got to put it in use and show it in use. So what you can do with the trademark, just like with the copyright, even before you register a copyright or a trademark, you can use the symbols. Now you can use a circle with the C, with the year and the owner, And you could put that on before you even register to Washington if it's a song or this or that. But if it's a recording and stuff, it gets in a circle with a P. But with a trademark, you can use the TM, the little TM afterwards, like you'll see in the title of our show, Life in the Music Business, TM. You can use that. You cannot use the circle with the R, which means registered, because it's not registered, okay? And it's something, you know, you should definitely think about, and remind me, we'll talk about it again some more in the second thing. The other business thing that comes up before we get into the main meats of it, believe it or not, is either you're a manager, or you want to have a manager, or you have a manager but you don't have an agreement and things like this. See, a lot of people don't understand this, and I see this happen too often. Let's say somebody wants to be your manager, or you want to be a manager. And I see the managers taking people and pushing them around, and you know, like saying, "Hey, I want you to see my artist." Da, 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 da. Folks, you can get into a lot of problems, and boy, can I give you examples of that. But the point is, you need to have the legal right to represent somebody, you know, to represent an artist. You know, if you're representing, you have to have the legal right signed on paper, which says, you know, that the manager has the legal right to represent me and spread my name and stuff. I'll give you a great example of a problem with this. This manager takes this group up to this record company, a major label, okay? And the major label said, yeah, we're interested. And the manager comes up with the group. Guess what? They're interested. And they say, we don't want to go with that label, or we want to go indie or something. The artist is not going to get in trouble when they find out that the manager has no legal right to represent them. That manager is going to be, the term is blackballed. And word spreads from major label to major label, or even large indies and things like that. Word spreads quickly, and that manager is going to have trouble trying to take anybody else up to a thing. You need the legal right on paper. I know to people hate contracts and stuff. Folks, you go to a major person, you know, like what I say when people say, well, we don't need contracts, or a lot of rappers, singers, yeah, we don't need contracts. Folks, do you think Jay-Z or, you know, any of the, you know, P. Diddy, any of the major people, do you think they work without contracts? No, they want to get paid. And then everybody steal the artist. Oh, I don't even want to get into that, but I've seen major artists, because I've been involved, I just don't want to name drop, where somebody stole the artist, a major artist for many years. They stole them from the person that was going up to them to get a management contract. And when they saw, oh, I want that artist, they basically stole from the person because he didn't have the contract in place. And that guy, and oh, it turned into, I'm not going to go into it. I got like hundreds and hundreds of pages. We got them out of messes. It's in my basement someplace. I don't know. It was from the 90s and stuff. But man, it happens. You can't play these kinds of games, you know. Yeah. Contracts, you know, I'm not thrilled, you know, if I like contracts, but you have to protect yourself. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was saying they're the lifeline of everything. You need them.
Yeah, you know, just get it done and over with is what I always tell people. You know what I mean?
100%. And it's not that it's like for what you're gonna make in your career, when you put all the effort in, it'll pay itself back in no time. And it's like a one-time thing, like you said. Once you do it and you set yourself up, like you'll have certain situations where you'll need some changes, but
of course, it's a few changes here and there. Don't change them yourself. Take it back to the person who did it and let them make the changes. Folks, a comma in the wrong place can change everything. As you can look this up. Oh, it's one of those airplane companies that lost $800 million because of a comma in the wrong place. Mm-hmm. It sounds weird. It exists. I'm not going to name the airline, but You know, I mean, it's nothing you play with. It's just super important. Get it over and done with, folks. It's really not that bad, just, come to somebody like me or an entertainment attorney, have them explain why and what to do. And you made a good point about, you named the company. Don't go to any of these companies and buy a template. A template is just what you'll usually see the word standard on top of it or something. There's no such thing as standard contract. It might be their standard contract.
You even read through them and you just see like what it's saying. It's like you have to fill in the blank, and it's just like it's so generalized that you'll never really be able to really get the scope of it, because it's just like something for you to go off of, not something to use as you know what I mean, as like
exactly. And a lot of them aren't even legal. They talk about agreements and contracts. Agreements and contracts are basically the same thing, but a contract is an enforceable agreement. But for forgetting that, one of the things you're going to hear from me probably in almost every 5 or 6 episodes, it's not always what's in a contract that can hurt you, it's what's been left out. And I guarantee you that if it's a template, there's stuff left out of it. Oh, I love it when people say, but Pooch, it's only 1 page. What could be wrong? Oh, God. I bet people lunch. This has happened many times. I bet them lunch that I'll find stuff missing. And believe me, I've been eating good. I just don't gain any weight. I'm eating good off of it, because there's certain things that must be legally in a contract. But it's got to fit you and your situation. And if you're getting multiple contracts, like for publishing a record company, they got to talk to each other. Let's say, I got a good one for you, for example. Let's say you're signing with a manager, and and the manager also has a publishing company and a record company. It happens a lot nowadays. We'll get into why. Be careful of that. I mean, does the person have the knowledge to do all this? Do they have the time to do it? Whatever. And what will happen is you'll see, okay, the record company, if it doesn't release the recording in a year, you're out of it. But then when you look at the publishing company, it says, we have your song for 5 years at least. And then the manager thing could be renewable. I mean, they got to talk. Yeah, there's a term actually I use to make sure when there's multiple contracts that they are coterminous, which means if one contract ends, the rest of them end too. You can't. Contracts are too hairy to play with.
Yeah, you can mess up. You can end up in a whole mess, like you just said. Like, oh, I'm out of this contract in 3 years, but this one's 5 years. This other one's 7, so I'm stuck.
Well, and oh my God, I could tell stories. I'll tell you one you'll laugh at it, but it wasn't laughable to the person it happened to.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Tell me about this one.
Well, so many times, see, in a contract, a recording contract, they go, hey, we're going to put you out there. It doesn't matter what they tell you. It's what's in the contract, by the way. It always uses the term, this contract will supersede anything oral or written before. So you can forget anything that was said by anybody. I make sure they put those, we'll get into all that. But all the record company contracts, it's funny as hell. People don't understand this. It doesn't say that they ever have to release any of your recordings. See, what it'll say in a contract, like the recording contract, I'm just using this example. We're getting into contracts here. We'll really cover contracts at some point. But it'll say, upon the delivery of this contract, upon the delivery of your recording, the time period starts then, okay? I'm not even going to go into why it starts then. But if you look up the definition of delivery, which might be on page 42 from a major label contract, delivery means not that you're handing it to them, you're handing it to them and they accept it. Well, there was this act fronted by a woman, I'm not going to name names again. The group was there for 2 years and nothing was released. Well, she was so pissed, literally, she went to the president's office, stood on his desk, pulled down her underwear and peed all over his desk. This is what I think of you and your company, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
I mean, you can laugh about it,
Say that's
but she wasn't laughing about it
Yeah.
because it's, that's why you need somebody like me or an entertainment agreement.
Yeah.
Because, see, you always need something. I'm going to say now because it's very important, and we'll talk more about it later. You need a way out of an agreement. I call it usually an escape clause, okay?
Mhm.
So what would happen, and we'll use this agreement with the contract with the record company, if you don't release it, now release it's funny, the word, you got to be specific. You can't be generalized and ambiguous. You don't release it internationally through general quarters and vinyl and CDs and this. You got to make it really so they really release it and promote it with so much money behind it and stuff within, like a year's, 18 months, even like that. You think that's a long time. Well, the contract's going to be for a real long time, okay? So it's a way for you to get out if they don't fulfill their part. See, any contract you're going to see, it says what you have to do. It doesn't say what they have to do. And that's why it's so important, going back to where we were, of owning your own companies, because then you're dealing from strength instead of weakness.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of blowing my mind with a few things because I mean, there's so much going on at once. It's just like there's so many moving parts that's why you need people there that understand what's going on to be able to actually help you and guide you in the right direction.
Well, that's why you need a team. You can't do everything yourself. Do it. DIY equals hobby, and I've said this before, but you need a team. It doesn't have to be a major label or anything like that. It could be super fans, and we can get into all that. We've done it on other shows, and we'll go into it again. But I mean, you need somebody there. If you're not going to protect yourself, you better make sure somebody who is protecting you and they're doing things for you in your best interest. But you still want to own everything. If you're signed to your own songwriting and, your own publishing company with a songwriters agreement, exclusive, and you're going to sign to your own label, okay, you got the song and the recording, it gives you, control. You got to do it. And we'll get into more and more about each of these things because there's a lot of parts to it. And you're going to notice in these shows we're doing, we're all over the place. Yeah. But you need to know every angle. You need to know this stuff because you're going to be dealing, I see people, well, I just want to learn about producing. Well, fine, learn about producing, make that your major, but you need to minor in everything else because you're going to be dealing with other people. It's like my mentor back in the 70s, he was a producer. He said to me, Pooch, producing is my art. Publishing is my business. And that's where he made his money. So, I mean, you need to know all these things. And it's not a lot. You see how we're speaking in simple language, It doesn't have to be highfalutin, lawyer talk kind of stuff. It can be done simply. It's just people don't want you to know what's going on. And I want you to know what's going on. It's that simple.
Like getting into the music business, that you're getting into a business that is systematically made, like is there to take advantage of artists and people. So you have to be coming from this strength to be able to really to really do it,
Well, and the key is, and you're right. And the key is knowledge is strength. But as I say, there's actually a saying I didn't come up with, but knowledge is strength. Learning how to use that knowledge is wisdom. And that's what we're going to be really focusing on is, we're going to give you information and knowledge, but we're going to show you how to use that knowledge. You'll notice that I'm explaining things from every angle because I want everybody to know, like I say, look, I've been full-time in the music industry for 50 years. Yeah, I started very young, but full-time for 50 years, and I'm not going to be doing it for another 50 years. So I want everybody to know what's going on and pass this information on, folks. As people know me, I'm very heavy into protecting my people. I want my people safe so they can just do their music and not have to worry about everybody looking over their, oh, they're going to steal my stuff. They're going to do this. You're going to do that, kind of stuff.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I mean, you're just trying to do good out here and actually protect people.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's important to me. I'll explain why. I'm going to explain why it's important to me in a way. Okay. People notice that nothing bothers me. I mean, I have fun with everything. I actually have a thing on my wall. It says, I am simply having fun with everything and everyone. Say it with feeling every day, folks. I am simply having fun with everything and everyone. I'm having fun with it. But there's one thing that I cannot handle. One thing that upsets me is any form of abuse. Now, abuse comes in many different ways. There's physical abuse where somebody's hitting a person or an animal.
Mm.
And there's also mental abuse, which could be even worse sometimes because it stays with you for years. You're no good, you're no good. And the kid learns that when they're real young, and later on they wonder, they don't think much of themselves and things, and you got to reprogram your brain. We will go through things like that, how to do those kinds of things also. Your brain is a computer. It's just very advanced. That's all.
Okay.
But yeah, my thing is any form of abuse, I'm just against it. If somebody's screwing somebody with a contract or trying to steal them or steal their stuff, that's abuse.
Yeah.
And that, my people know, yeah, I'm overprotective. I'm known for, people see when I work with people, I'm proactive. I say, oh, did you remember to do this? And, I'll stay on top of them and stuff. And you have to put up with that. It's just who I am, But I just can't stand any form of abuse and, hurting somebody mentally or physically, and animals too, anything alive, okay? Just something I can't handle.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's indespicable.
Oh, it's really funny. People say, well, what's your religion? Well, my religion is real simple. I want to go to my grave knowing I never purposely hurt anybody. That's my religion. That's it, folks, Otherwise, my thing is do whatever you want. You're your own boss. Do whatever you want. The only thing is don't hurt anybody else on the way. It's that simple, build yourself up. Don't knock other people down,
Yeah.
And people are always judging people and stuff and putting them down, and it's to make themselves feel better. Oh, yeah, I don't like music's an opinion, any art is an opinion.
I grew up with that type of stuff. Like, there's so many people just like poke fun at other people or bully them and do that type of stuff just to make themselves feel good because they are lacking what that person has. And it's a funny concept even going throughout the music industry. I see this all the time, like people just hating on people just because they have something that they don't, and it's all envy at the end of the day. Like you've explained before, like everything just is until you compare it to something else.
Yeah, I mean, everything, just is, like I say, first of all, why are you wasting your time judging other people? Why? Just build yourself up. Let them become a success. You're you. Everybody's unique. Let them become a success. There's plenty of room for you to become successful. You want everybody to be successful. And just focus on yourself. Don't knock other people down. Build yourself up. Work on yourself, And you're exactly right. Envy, jealousy. I want to make them feel as bad as I feel, kind of thing. And the thing is, they're trying to build up their own confidence, and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no. It's interesting how people think sometimes because, like, especially in this world, in this day and age, like, it's just human interaction is just everybody's always glued to their phones. It's just a different world nowadays. So it's like you get a lot of different opinions.
Yeah, but you could be glued to your phone talking about, oh, the thing I hate is gossip. That's why I don't usually go to parties and stuff like that. If it starts gossiping, I want to learn stuff. Yeah, I've been doing this 50 years, and I have 50 years of experience and knowledge and all that stuff, and I know a lot of shit. But at the same point in time, I still want to learn more. There's always something new happening. I get really into what they're creating, the next steps. I want to know about this stuff, of course, so I can help my clients. and friends and associates. But at the same point in time, to me, that's interesting. Is learning. I constantly want to learn and then figure out a way to creatively use it for myself and my own projects and my clients and associates and help them out. It's fun. I love helping people, you know? It
It,
makes you feel good.
does, exactly. And you know what I mean? You feel like you're doing a good deed, and you know that the energy you put out into the world is what you get back. So it's good all around.
That's right. And if you put out good energy, you attract good energy back. If you
Exactly.
put out bad energy, you attract bad energy back. We don't have to go into the whole thing right now. It's science, folks. It's, you know, it's energy, vibrations, and frequency. That's everything. Okay, everything's vibrating. It doesn't look it, but if you get a a microscope up against the wall, you're going to see, if it's a really strong microscope, the wall's moving. Everything is vibrating. Everything in the world vibrates. And the idea is there's frequencies, okay? And in music, you should know about frequencies. There's low, but you know, and you get, it's up to an amount of vibrations to reach those pitches and stuff. But if you put out high vibes like, you know, happiness and joy and fun and stuff like that, you're going to attract it because frequencies look for each other. It's like a real simple proof of that is if you know, dial into a radio station at a certain frequency, that's what you get because you're matching frequencies. Well, it works with people too. And if you know, feeling really low about yourself and you get into the pity things and fear and anger and envy and jealousy and those low vibe things, you're going to attract the same people who feel the same way. It's the vibrations are looking for somebody to attach to, you know? And man, you know, I've learned through life. I mean, I talk from experience. I'm a skeptic at everything until it's proven to me. But as I feel better and better about myself, I attract people that feel better and better about themselves. And you're, you know, you're not being dragged down.
Yeah.
And this is something I hope to repeat many times. It's just very, very important. You want to make life much simpler? It's this way. If you stay away from, you know, ditch all of them, all the negative people, you know, obnoxious people, drama and negative drama, queens and kings, you're going to find out that life gets much simpler. And, you know, everything is, it's just like, takes all the pressures off you because they're trying to drag you down because to make you feel as bad as they are and stuff. I'm sorry, it's friends sometimes. It could be family.
Yep.
You know, it could be anything. But it's very, very true. You will find out if you get rid of all negative people in your life, find a way to do it, you're going to be a much happier person. You're going to notice all the pressures away. You know, life gets so easy when there aren't people trying to drag you down. And I've seen this where one negative person can drag down 10 positive people, you know, and I just won't let that happen. That's why when I put together my original master class back in 2011, where we met in person and everything like that, even right here in the Pooch Palace, the Pooch Palace office.
Yeah.
And you're seeing parts of it, okay? I mean, I had this whole studio over this way at one time, and it goes sideways, okay? And, you know, what I did was, I didn't want to see their resumes to do master classes. I wanted them to write me a letter. Just like, you know, a cover letter when you do resumes and cover letters. Yeah, sure, I want to know their skills and interests and stuff. I wanted to be convinced their head was in the right place.
Yeah.
But if people put negativity, and I've seen that in a lot of things, I said, you know, I'm sorry, you can't be a part of this. I can't have any negativity here. You know, like things like, oh man, you know, I've been trying so hard, but everything goes wrong all the time. And, yeah, or you know, because I always interviewed them first, even after the cover letter to see, you know, just to make sure. I would see how they speak and stuff like that. And, but, you know, if they're real negative stuff, you know, I said, I'm sorry, please, you got to I help them try to get into a more positive frame of mind. But people, I think, like, want to bring you into the pity party. As somebody calls it a pity party. Yeah, it kind of sounds cool. Yeah, I guess because all the P's is like Professor Pooch. But I don't want to be there, right? I'm here. I'm having fun. And people say, how could you do contracts? But to me, they're fun because contract could be creative. If you have the knowledge, then you can play around with what you can do to solve problems. By the way, one of my jobs sometimes is being what is known as a mediator. A mediator is brought in when there's two parties that can't come to an agreement on something. And as long as they're interested in coming to agreement, I've never had a problem. They'll say, well, I want it this way. And then I'll show them ways that, well, how about this? How about that? I'll come up with different examples. It's being creative with the situation and just making it so both people can agree. Let's get it over with and, get the contracts done or whatever. And let's make music. That's what it's all about, folks.
Yeah. That's all we're trying to protect and everything. I mean, the songs are the most important thing, and it's like one of in my opinion, one of the only ways to really like to strike an emotion with somebody. When you hear that song on the radio or wherever it came up on your Spotify on your playlist, something like that, and it just reminds you of that place, that time, the people that are around you. You can almost close your eyes and visualize everything. Like I feel like music is the only thing that can really do that for you.
Yeah, well, I know what it does to me. It can make it, when I get pooch bumps. I know that I always use that term. My friend engineer I work with sometimes. Yeah, oh yeah, pooch bump. Yeah, that's why I know there's a mix and stuff. But I need to feel it, and I want to be, as I say, a great song takes me on a mini vacation to another dimension. And everybody's going through. They heard a song, it just takes them someplace. It takes them they stop thinking about their work and their boss who's driving them crazy and all that stuff. And it takes them away someplace. And, it's a song that's a great song that has great arrangement around it and great production. By the way, a great arrangement and production are when they don't get in the way of the song. They just bring out the feeling of it. They bring out the artist putting it across, or it's a rapper, singer, whatever, and it just comes across. And it just builds a feeling. A great way to tell about this is fun. I'll have people watch movies, a movie, and they'll go to see a movie and stuff, or watch it on TV or whatever. And they see the movie, and I say, okay, now I want you to watch it again. But a lot of times I want you to close your eyes and listen. And they find lots of stuff that they didn't know was there. That building, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
But if it's done right, you don't hear it, you feel it.
Of course.
And it's just so important part of a movie.
One thing that you preach is that you have to feel the music has to feel good. I mean, the mix could be great, all that stuff, like #1 artist, all that stuff. But if it doesn't feel good, then
Yeah, and it happens, Look, everybody's gonna have their favorite style of music. I mean, I'm a rocker, but I like all styles if it takes me someplace. I mean, there's been some rap songs that just take me right away, different. It doesn't matter what style of music, if it's done well and feels great.
Yeah.
It just takes me someplace. I want to feel the artist. I want to feel the music. I want it to be communicated where I could just sit back. And it just takes me to that, other dimension, which, where I normally come from. I just visit Earth once in a while to do things, But basically, yeah, and we probably should stop here for this episode because this
go on and on and on.
Yeah, because we've got a good time.
Yeah.
But we'll continue this because there's way more to this 3-step program. We're still just the start of step 1. But this is all important, to go over it real quick again, the LLC, some form of protection, your tax number. If there's more than one person, there's some kind of a partnership. If there's managers, things like that. We're going to be going into, publishing companies, record companies, studio work, all that kind of stuff. We're going to be getting into that. And that'll just be in the next episode. That's all.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Okay. So everybody, thank you, BACEFACE, for being there.
Yeah,
And everybody else, stay tuned for the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Tune in for the next episode.